Ah yes, the Grand Theft Auto games. One of my favorite, if not my all-time favorite, video game franchise of all time. I've been a fan of this franchise for over a decade now, and as the people who've watched my walkthroughs know, I've pretty much completed most of these games for the full 100%, so I've got my fair share of knowledge on these games. But over the years, a lot of my subscribers have been asking me that same question, and one that I was never really able to fully answer. TBF, what is your favorite GTA game? Well, I've given it a lot of thought, but now I decided to finally give you a look at my personal top 10 favorite GTA games. We're kicking off this list with Chinatown Wars. And I'm gonna say right off the bat, I'm not as familiar with Chinatown Wars as, well, any of the other GTA games from my top 9 onwards. I do own the game and I did play some of it, but not nearly to the extent of the others. So why is it still at number 10, you ask? Well, let me explain. As much of a GTA fan and know-it-all I am, I never really enjoyed the early top-down view games. So sorry, but don't expect to see GTA 1, London or GTA 2 or Advance on my list. Chinatown Wars in a way returned to this old top-down view, but improved upon it massively. The game is full of innovative features that make the gameplay experience on your PSP or DS or even an iPhone a lot of fun. Plus, the storyline is good and there's a ton of stuff to discover in the Liberty City from the HD era. Although it's weird to consider Chinatown Wars part of the HD era canon, as the game itself isn't an HD game at all, but that's a subject for some other time. And I do realize that Chinatown Wars is the GTA game that I overlooked the most, and I probably never gave it enough credit. So I think it at least deserves this spot in my top 10. So all the GTA games coming from here onwards are games that I know very well, and coming in on my 9th spot is Vice City Stories. And some people might think I ranked this one too low, as this game is yet another solid entry in the franchise, and yes, it has a great storyline, and yes, it shows a lot of background on characters and a whole city that was already introduced in the original GTA Vice City. And yes, there were a lot of previously unseen features like the jet ski and some unique missions. But the game also had a lot of problems for me. The game seems more glitchy than, well, any of the other GTA games that I've played, and when I first did my walkthrough on this one I encountered numerous of glitches that were really frustrating ones. Vehicles don't seem to be safe in your garage, I had sudden plane crashes, and I even had a lot of subscribers complain about a glitch that disables the smuggling side quest completely, making 100% completion impossible. And from a completionist perspective like myself, I had the least fun getting 100% completion in this one. Why? So many side quests. And that shouldn't necessarily be a problem, but in Vice City Stories everything is repetitive as hell. During my walkthrough I started calling this game GTA Repetitive Stories out of frustration. I mean, just for laughs, do the loan sharking side quest. All you do is steal a bike and then a truck and then a bike and then a truck, and you do so for 15 freaking levels. And you have to get to level 15 in pretty much all the other vehicle missions and empire missions as well. I mean, whatever happened to level 12, as if that wasn't enough already. When it's not fun to get 100% completion in a game, that's a bit of a downside for me. But don't get me wrong, the game and the storyline was still more than fresh enough to represent the final game in the 3D era. GTA The Lost and Damned gets my number 8 spot. This game served as an add-on to GTA 4 and introduced us to the background of Johnny Klabitz and the Last MC biker gang. This immediately gave it a completely different feel compared to GTA 4, even though the game is set in the same city taking place at the same time, but it was interesting to play through the story through the eyes of somebody else. This is something that Rockstar later of course made a trademark in GTA 5. The storyline was gritty and very violent in places, but you actually felt part of this brotherhood, and it felt weird to have Johnny drive a car instead of his trusty bike, because you got, sucked into this biker world, and they really pulled it off the right way. It's a short but great entry to the franchise. Coming in on number 7 we have GTA Liberty City Stories. Yes, I actually prefer this one to Vice City Stories. This game was a lot of fun to complete for the 100% completion, and this game was the reason I got a PSP back in 2005. And I have a lot of fond memories from those days. When I heard there was going to be a portable version of the Liberty City from GTA 3, with a story revolved around the life of Tony Cipriani, a character which we already knew from GTA 3, I just had to get this game. There was just something about being able to have a brand new GTA game that you could take to school and even play multiplayer with classmates that just made this such a great game. Sure, that also applies to Vice City Stories, but for me, Liberty City Stories just has the bigger fun factor. This was one of the first games I completed for the 100%, and on my channel this still holds up as the most popular walkthrough I ever made. Liberty City Stories is just one of the best handheld games of all time, and it often gets overlooked. If you never played this one before, just go and check it out. GTA San Andreas gets my 6th spot, which might seem surprising to a lot of people, as I see a lot of my subscribers who first got into the franchise with this game and often call it one of the best, if not the best GTA game ever. While I agree San Andreas is a great game, much like Liberty City Stories was my reason to get a PSP, San Andreas was my main reason to get a PlayStation 2 back in 2004. But I do feel this one gets slightly overrated sometimes. With this game, Rockstar tried to throw in everything they could think of: monster trucks, go-karts, jetpack, night vision goggles, parachutes, tractors, and even 3 major cities on a huge map. And then they had to get up with a storyline to fit with it. And in that aspect, San Andreas sometimes kind of seems like a bit of a mess in terms of its storyline. It's like they just had to find excuses for CJ to go to all 3 cities. He first be a gangster, then he owns a garage, then a casino, and then he ends up being a gangster again. It's not exactly the best storyline if it was made into a movie. But yes, it's a game, not a movie, and yes, I still think San Andreas was indeed one of the greatest GTA games in the franchise. I've got a lot of great memories from first playing this game, and there were a lot of myths on the internet like the Bigfoot or the Leatherface and all the crap that not ended up being in the game, but still, there was so much hype around this game that we only just recently experienced again with GTA 5. San Andreas kind of had the same amount of hype around it, and it did live up to it in a lot of aspects. But to me, there are just a few GTAs that I favor slightly better than this one. No one can deny that GTA Vice City is a classic. What's there not to love about this masterpiece? It had one of the best storylines based on Scarface, one of my favorite movies of all time. It had the most badass protagonist in Tommy Vercetti, one that never got topped ever again in my opinion. It had an amazing 80s soundtrack, another thing that they never really topped again. And on top of it all, the game was just a lot of fun. This was the first one to feature motorbikes, scooters, helicopters, clothing and a lot of other stuff they always kept in all of the other future GTA games that came after this one. And then there's just this vibe that you can't really explain, but the game just simply has that vibe. It's the Malibu Club, it's Diaz's mansion, it's the music, the tropical weather. To me, GTA Vice City will always be one of the greatest games ever made. At number 4 we have GTA 4, the reason I got a PlayStation 3. Yes, GTA games are reasons for me to get new consoles, as you might have noticed by now. And by God did GTA 4 blow me away. Some people would claim this game is too realistic and dark and they never really beat San Andreas with this one. Well, yes, there are no monster trucks, jetpacks or countryside, but to me, Rockstar got it all spot on with this one. The new rendition of Liberty City is one of the greatest 3D worlds ever conceived by mankind. There isn't a better digital version of New York City in existence. And the more serious tone and the much deeper storyline to me isn't something wrong, it is where the game actually shines. People who think that San Andreas was superior because it had a bigger map and more vehicles are completely missing the point of what I consider one of Rockstar's greatest masterpieces. Yeah, the Ballad of Gay Tony, bro. GTA 4's second DLC is not just an add-on, it's an improvement. Yes, just like The Lost and Damned, the game is short and it isn't quite fair to call it better than GTA 4, but yes, it is that good to me. The fun factor of this game reaches a peak it didn't reach in the original GTA 4 because the missions and its storyline are just criminally enjoyable. The whole game was just one ride of non-stop action with outrageous and never before seen missions, and playing as the badass womanizer Luis Lopez made it that much more fun. I mean, there were missions in which you entered a club, found a chick, banged her, and then 10 minutes later you had to hook up with another chick, take her to a back room, let her work her magic, and then kill her boyfriend that busts you. I mean, that was just stuff we never saw before in any other game, and it made me happy to roam around a third time in an already familiar city. This, despite being a DLC, is one of the best GTA games, period. Yes, GTA 5 at number 2, not at number 1. Now looking at the facts, GTA 5 probably is the best GTA game ever made to this day. Numbers don't lie, it's the best selling game, it's the fastest selling game, it's the fastest media product to gross $1 billion, and a whole lot more. Just in the first week alone it broke like 7 world records, it's just insane. And GTA 5 truly deserves all of that praise. I would also say it's just the best GTA game ever made. Now much like with San Andreas, they gave us a huge map with a ton of content, only this time they got it all extremely right. The storyline was compelling and bringing 3 main characters to play with made it even more 3-dimensional. There isn't anything negative I have to say about this game. Hell, it's only been released for about 5 months now and I still have so much to do and complete in this game. I still haven't even gotten to the time to get into the GTA Online as much as I'm actually obligated to do so. Yeah, I know, it's almost criminal. But it doesn't take away from the fact that I also think it's the absolute best GTA game they ever made. But there's just one more GTA game left that I would consider my all-time favorite GTA game out of the bunch. And that even surpasses GTA 5. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, now to the people that know me this probably wasn't a surprise, but my all-time favorite GTA game will always be GTA 3. Would I say it's the best GTA game ever made? Probably not. Is it the one I play the most at the moment? Well, not at all. But there never has been a GTA game which was so revolutionary and gave me that special feeling as much as GTA 3 did. And I think only the people who played this one before all the other 3D GTA games, like I did, truly understand. This game was as much of a revolution to open world gaming as Mario 64 was to 3D platformers. To me, this game is what Ocarina of Time means to pretty much every die-hard Legend of Zelda fan. I mean, you gotta understand, before this came out there were just some 2D top-down view GTA games. And it was 2001, I was an 11-year-old back then, and nothing beats that nostalgia of first standing on that Callahan bridge that just blew up in an amazing cutscene, getting into that car and diving into this huge 3-dimensional Liberty City. I instantly fell in love with this game, and I was hooked to the franchise ever since. And to me, that special feeling and nostalgia can just never be beaten. Thank you for taking your time to listen to my opinion. Now if you are a new viewer, please subscribe to my channel if you liked this video. You can find a lot of GTA walkthroughs on my channel and I'm sure you'll be interested in seeing them. Also be sure to follow me on Twitter or like my Facebook fan page. Thanks for watching guys, I hope you enjoyed.